The Pope's wife went in. A little relieved, I returned to my quarters. Crossing the square, I saw several Bashkirs crowding round the gallows in order to tear off the high boots of the hanged men. With difficulty I forbore showing my anger, which I knew would be wholly useless. The robbers pervaded the fort, and were plundering the officers' quarters, and the shouts of the rebels making merry were heard everywhere. I went home. Savelich met me on the threshold. "Thank heaven!" cried he, upon seeing me. "I thought the villains had again laid hold on you." "Oh! My father, Peter Andreevich, would you believe it, the robbers have taken everything from us, clothes, linen, crockery and goods, they have left nothing." "But what does it matter? Thank God that they have at least left you your life." "But oh! My master, did you recognize their ataman?" "No, I did not recognize him. Who is he?" "What, my little father, you have already forgotten the drunkard who did you out of your touloup the day of the snowstorm, a hareskin touloup, brand new. And he, the rascal, who split all the seams putting it on." I was dumbfounded. The likeness of Pugachev to my guide was indeed striking. I ended by feeling certain that he and Pugachev were one and the same man, and I then understood why he had shown me mercy. I was filled with astonishment at the extraordinary connection of events. A boy's touloup, given to a vagabond, saved my neck from the hangman, and a drunken frequenter of pothouses besieged forts and shook the empire. "Will you not eat something?" asked Savelich, faithful to his old habits. "There is nothing in the house, it is true, but I shall look about everywhere, and I will get something ready for you." Left alone, I began to reflect. What could I do? To stay in the fort, which was now in the hands of the robber, or to join his band were courses alike unworthy of an officer. Duty prompted me to go where I could still be useful to my country in the critical circumstances in which it was now situated. But my love urged me no less strongly to stay by Marya Ivanovna, to be her protector and her champion. Although I foresaw a new and inevitable change in the state of things, yet I could not help trembling as I thought of the dangers of her situation. My reflections were broken by the arrival of a Cossack, who came running to tell me that the great Tsar summoned me to his presence. "Where is he?" I asked, hastening to obey. "In the commandant's house," replied the Cossack. "After dinner our father went to the bath, now he is resting." "Ah, sir. You can see he is a person of importance. He deigned at dinner to eat 2 roast sucking pigs, and then he went into the upper part of the vapor bath, where it was so hot that Taras Kurochkin himself could not stand it. He passed the broom to Baik Bayev, and only recovered by dint of cold water." "You must agree, his manners are very majestic, and in the bath, they say, he showed his marks of Tsar, on one of his breasts a double-headed eagle as large as a pettick, and on the other his own face." I did not think it worthwhile to contradict the Cossack, and I followed him into the commandant's house, trying to imagine beforehand my interview with Pugachev, and to guess how it would end. The reader will easily believe me when I say that I did not feel wholly reassured. It was getting dark when I reached the house of the commandant. The gallows, with its victims, stood out black and terrible. The body of the commandant's poor wife still lay beneath the porch, close by 2 Cossacks, who were on guard. He who had brought me went in to announce my arrival. He came back almost directly, and ushered me into the room where, the previous evening, I had bidden goodbye to Marya Ivanovna. I saw a strange scene before me. At a table covered with a cloth and laden with bottles and glasses was seated Pugachev, surrounded by 10 Cossack chiefs, in high caps and colored shirts, heated by wine, with flushed faces and sparkling eyes. I did not see among them the new Confederates lately sworn in, the traitor Chvabrin and the Uriadnik. "Ah, ah. So it is you, your lordship," said Pugachev, upon seeing me. "You are welcome. All honor to you, and a place at our feast." The guests made room. I sat down in silence at the end of the table. My neighbor, a tall and slender young Cossack, with a handsome face, poured me out a bumper of brandy, which I did not touch. I was busy noting the company. Pugachev was seated in the place of honor, his elbows on the table, and resting his black beard on his broad fist. His features, regular and agreeable, wore no fierce expression. He often addressed a man of about 50 years old, calling him sometimes Count, sometimes Timofich, sometimes Uncle. Each man considered himself as good as his fellow, and none showed any particular deference to their chief. They were talking of the morning's assault, of the success of the revolt, and of their forthcoming operations. Each man bragged of his prowess, proclaimed his opinions, and freely contradicted Pugachev. And it was decided to march upon Orenburg, a bold move, which was nearly crowned with success. The departure was fixed for the day following. The guests drank yet another bumper, rose from table, and took leave of Pugachev. I wished to follow them, but Pugachev said, "Stay there, I wish to speak to you." We remained alone together, and for a few moments neither spoke. Pugachev looked sharply at me, winking from time to time his left eye with an indefinable expression of slyness and mockery. At last he gave way to a long burst of laughter, and that with such unfeigned gaiety that I myself, regarding him, began to laugh without knowing why. "Well, your lordship," said he, "confess you were afraid when my fellows cast the rope about your neck." "I warrant the sky seemed to you the size of a sheepskin. And you would certainly have swung beneath the crossbeam but for your old servant." I knew the old owl again directly. "Well, would you ever have thought, sir, that the man who guided you to a lodging in the steppe was the great Tsar himself?" As he said these words he assumed a grave and mysterious air. "You are very guilty as regards me," resumed he, "but I have pardoned you on account of your courage, and because you did me a good turn when I was obliged to hide from my enemies."